center, and it can center my picture for me. The next thing I'm going to do with my picture is maybe change the coloring a little bit and insert a border around the picture. So I make sure I'm clicked into my picture again. My picture toolbar comes up here. I click on my format option, and I have different things I can do with the picture. I can change the color here on the left-hand side. If I want it black and white, or I want to change the saturation, I can. I want to change it to black and white. I can also do some artistic effects. I'm going to make it into sort of a pencil grayscale sketch. Alright. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a picture style here in the center bar. Again, if I click on that menu and I scroll through, there are several different borders and effects that I can use for my picture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select one, and then to insert it I just left click on the effect that I want to put onto my picture, and I now have a border for my picture. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the size of some of my fonts. So I'm going to make sure I'm clicked outside of my picture. So to do that, I just click somewhere in the white space. And now I'm going to highlight my first paragraph. So I click and I select the sentence starting with high quality. Again, under my Home tab, I'm going to adjust the size. I'm going to do the same thing down here in my bulleted list. I'm going to highlight my bulleted list, and I'm going to change the size to about 16. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the heading that I have here, the Learn to Ride heading. So the first thing I want to do is you'll notice under your Home tab there is a style section that allows you to choose different headings for different parts of your document. What I'm going to do is I'm going to first change the styles. So next to my style box, I have a change style option. I want to single left click on that option. And I'm going to go down to my style set. Now these are all different style sets. Today we're going to choose the modern, so I'm going to scroll through and select the modern style set. I'm going to go back again to where it says change styles, and now I'm going to change the color palette. So I'm going to select, change styles again, go down to color, and I'm going to select my aspect color scheme. So I single left click on that color scheme, and as I'm selecting these different styles, this style menu bar changes as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first highlight, because I'm going to apply a style to my heading. I want to highlight my whole heading, my Learn to Ride. And then I'm going to go up here again under my Home tab to my style option, and I'm going to select my heading 1. As I scroll through my different headings again, it gives me a little preview of what it's going to look like. And then to select one, I just single left click on that heading. I'm then going to change the size of my heading a little bit. I'm going to change it to maybe 72. And I single left click on a set at 72, and once again it changes the size of that heading as well. So I have now selected a heading, and I have my Clipart as well. The last thing I'm going to do before inserting a page border is to insert a text box. I want to insert a little text box to put more text here in my Word document. So once again, I go here to insert, and I go over here to text box in my menu bar, and I single left click on my text box option. I can also choose a different style, but I'm going to just say a simple text box. So I click on the simple text box option, the first one, and it inserts a text box for me. Now what this allows me to do is to insert text and move it around very easily on my Word document. So as soon as I insert that, I can hit my backspace button to delete any of the text that's in that text box, and I'm going to type in "call us today" with an exclamation point. I can then, just like in Clipart, move that text box around. I'm going to move it down on my document. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll to the very edge of my text box until I get that four-sided arrow, just like we did with our clip art. I'm going to click and hold, and I'm going to drag it down on my document below my bulleted list, right about here. If I want to edit any of the text in my text box, I just double click into the text, again into the text box, and I can highlight this text now in my text box, go back up to my home tab, and maybe center it, and I can change the size of that text as well. And I now have inserted a text box in the bottom of my page. The last thing I'm going to do is insert a border for my page. So to do that, I just make sure I'm clicked anywhere inside of my document, so my cursor's blinking wherever. And I then go up to my page layout option in my menu bar and go over to page borders in the middle. Single left click on that, and it brings up my page border menu bar. I'm going to select the box setting, which is going to create a box border around my entire document. And I can either select a style down here if I scroll through, or there's another option on the bottom of the box, it says Art. If I single click on the arrow next to that, I can also choose, if I scroll through, some art borders as well. So once I choose or find a border I like, I scroll my mouse over it and I single left click on that border. I can change the width if I want to, make it a little thicker. And it gives me again a preview here on the right hand side. So I check that my art is right and my width is right, and I click OK, and it then creates a border around my entire document. And we are now done creating our flyer in Word.